You know what wasn't rolling?
What's that?
The snowballs that I tried to make this morning so that I could make my daughter a no man.
A no man.
Listen,
Was no man. No man.
I like snow. I do.
I dig the snow.
I still like snow. And it's like, it's one of those things where as a parent, you almost get to like doubly love it when your kid loves it.
Yeah.
Like seeing them absolutely ecstatic that there's white stuff out there on the grass that was green yesterday. I don't know. It's pretty fun.
Which I'm a little on the fence too, because I'm one of those where I can go play in the snow. After a few minutes though, my fingers start getting stiff.
I have gloves.
Well, I mean, I wear gloves too, but I'm just saying, like, my fingers do get stiff. None of the rest of me gets cold. I'm very hot natured, but my fingers just get stiff. But anyways, so I enjoy a little bit of that. But after about 30 minutes or so, I want to go fire up the Sub and play that way.
Yeah.
I enjoy the squirrely donuts and the going up to the mountains and all that fun stuff.
Some of my fondest memories didn't involve a Subaru in mountains because I was a kid and I didn't have a Subaru to take up mountains. But what I did have was sledding.
Oh, yeah. Love sledding.
And coming in, hot cocoa. I still like hot chocolate.
I'm more of a cider guy.
I am too. As I've gotten older, my
guy.
palate has gotten a little more, I'll call it sophisticated.
Well, but I'm also too intolerant to the dairy. So like the cocoa sometimes makes me feel, no.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't have that.
No, Glen Cocoa.
I don't have that problem.
No, I'm more of a cider guy.
And I love hot cocoa.
I like tea too. I'm a hot tea.
Yeah, I've talked to John. John's a tea connoisseur.
Yeah.
I'm just not I've never found a tea, regardless of how many bags I put in there, it just doesn't have that bold flavor that coffee does.
The Asheville Tea Company, which RIP to their building, they're still recovering from Helene. I think they are going to go back into production though. They had a fall/winter blend that had like some cider notes to it. That tea is phenomenal.
Yeah, a blend I could do, but I've tried some of the dark
good.
ones like your Earl Greys and stuff like that, and I'm like, dang, I just cannot get this flavor to punch me in the nose like coffee does.
Well, it's never going to be a punch. That's the thing. With tea, it's like a subtlety.
Well, I like the punch, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, I do too. I love my coffee, but I'm saying on a tea, you got to take it for what it is.
Yeah, or just not drink it because it just doesn't do it for you. I'm
trying to sophisticate your palate some more here, Captain.
Listen, I've already stated I have grown into a great love for cider.
Oh, cider's phenomenal,
especially warm cider. Anyways,
warm cider. From the Apple Festival in Irwin, Tennessee.
Which didn't happen this year because of Helene.
Dang.
Speaking of Helene, we are slowly, as a county, recovering.
We're recovering.
We just got another bridge.
We did.
Halfway opened up.
PTL.
Halfway opened up.
I actually drove it here this morning.
I haven't driven it, but I do know how it's helped transit times.
It has saved me. So from my house to the church going around Kinzer Bridge is a 31-minute traverse. Going Ernest Bridge, which is Chucky Pike, has cut me down to 20 minutes.
Dang.
So it saves me 11 minutes.
The only time it doesn't save you is
if that red light gets stuck.
Is the 2 times that my wife has had to take it since it's reopening, halfway reopening. They've got one lane opened up of the 2-lane bridge, right? Because another side of the bridge is missing its guardrails.
It's missing its rails. They don't want people just scooting off the edge there.
Floating off into the Nolichucky.
While they're looking at the Nolichucky.
She said, I don't know if these people have just never driven this Chucky Pike Road or what, but like I have gotten behind people who are literally driving 20.
Oh, yeah. I did today, actively.
That road, other than a few curves, there are a few tight curves, but by and large, you can get around on that road.
Listen, folks,
pretty good.
I used to wear the hound out of those curves in a Dadburn Mustang that is not known for handling. It was a 01 GT. Those boys are known for pushing the nose off the road.
Yeah.
And I about did a couple times, but they're not that tight. They're not that tight at turns.
She said, I've just gotten behind 2 people the 2 times I've had to drive it, and we have literally, she says I have almost stopped in curves because we're going so slow.
Never once in my driving career have I heard anyone describe Chucky Pike as the Nürburgring of East Tennessee.
Yeah, well.
If you're not privy to Nürburgring, that's Germany's basically test track for everything.
Maybe like the Dragon.
It's not even the Dragon. I mean, the Dragon is the Dragon.
Got a lot of curves.
Got a lot
like
of
100
tight curves.
something like that?
A lot of tight curves.
Anyways, what we're going to talk about today in addition to our favorite drinks and how Greene County is recovering from Hurricane Helene, we're going to talk about buying your first camera.
Ooh, I like this. Hey, by the way, while we're talking about drinks, I would like to direct your attention to those little bottles right there.
Them green things?
This may help your lack of tea appreciation because these little dudes right here can actually be mixed with your tea.
Ooh.
Yeah. What are these dudes, you ask? Well, this is Magic Mind's mental performance shot.
Okay.
And Jared, I am now on month 3.
Dang.
Yeah. It's gone by pretty quick.
Are you like subscribed or something?
I mean,
or do you like, do you know, for real, do you literally go in there and just bulk order this stuff?
We're a little serious. We're a little serious here. I'm on that subscription.
Nice.
They ship them straight to my door.
Honestly, that is nice that they have a subscription.
It's very nice because I don't have to think about it.
You don't have to remember.
And I get a text message the day of saying, hey, we just sent you a new order.
New batch.
I don't even have to do anything. But yeah, Magic Mind's mental performance shot. On month 3, and I can truly say that it has been a game changer in my mental clarity, my focus, my energy levels. I've mentioned this in episodes past, but it has reduced my need for that afternoon energy drink.
Which isn't the goal, but that's...
It's not the goal, but it certainly was helpful
not their
for
claim.
me. Yeah, they don't claim to be a caffeine replacement. They are a supplementation to that, and that's all done with natural ingredients.
But if you're someone who is taking a lot like you were, might be able to cut that down.
Yeah, it may cut it down. I'm more present, more focused, more aware, able to work on the things and the projects that we have at hand with a whole lot more clarity. So very appreciative for that. Yeah, like I said, this is just this is month 3, and I truly can say that it's made a difference in my consumption. And Magic Mind have been kind enough to provide a link and a discount code for our audience below.
There you go.
We will put that in the description. That is Motion20 for up to 48% off of
give
your
it a
first
click
subscription.
see.
Yeah, give it a click see, give it a look. They offer trials. They offer basically a cancel whenever you want to. Try it if you don't like it, money back guarantee. All of those things for you. And I would like to thank Magic Mind.
That was Motion what?
Motion20.
Nice.
Yeah, Motion20 for
Get
your
you a discount.
code. Up to 48% off your subscription.
Nice.
Meat and taters. Get us the meat and taters, Jared. We are talking things to look for before you buy your first camera.
Yeah, this is actually one of my possibly, in addition to Lynn's questions, this is probably the most commonly asked question that I have presented to me.
Yes.
Asked of
Questioned.
me, to me, however you...
You are quizzed upon this.
Yes, this question is asked a lot.
Asked
and
of
it's, what camera should I buy? I'm wanting to get something in addition to my phone. What camera do you recommend? And that is about as good of a question as saying, what car should I buy?
Ooh.
Like,
hey, your Ford guys are going to say Ford, your Chevy guys are going to say Chevy. Like, this does me no good.
But, I mean, it's a fair question because you don't know what you don't know, right? Like, you're literally looking for advice to someone who is got experience in this field.
Yep.
But
somebody who's probably a little bit partial to the camera that they're using already.
It's funny because they ask a question and I'm like, I raise you 3 questions, basically.
Ooh.
And the reason why...
I counter your question with 17 more.
The reason why is because my answer...
It probably varies.
It literally varies per person, per need, per desire. Like, it's kind of like... It's really fun. I really do enjoy it because between needs, experience, what are you going to use it for, and budget...
And literal, want.
It's
like,
a custom puzzle that you know... got to find the pieces for everything.
It's like the Notebook.
So it's really fun. It's
like
really
the
fun.
Notebook. What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want? So
help me decide what I want.
It's funny because literally, I don't know, a couple weeks ago now, an old friend of ours texted me and was like, hey, I need to buy a camera to shoot video. So this was specific. I already knew one need right off the bat, video.
No photo.
Video is priority.
Okay.
But it was for a guy who has an apparel company, but it's centered around golf, and he's already creating content, but it's all on the golf course.
So he's a golf fluencer.
Basically.
Sick.
Basically. But I asked, excuse me.
Shoot.
I said, so are you only shooting video with this? Like no photo needs. You don't need stills at all. So okay, that helps me a lot because we don't need to worry about hybrids.
Right.
Maybe able to go completely video only. And is this going to be always out on the golf course during the daytime.
Right.
Because what I'm asking for there is like, what kind of light capabilities?
Yeah, do we need a low light performer?
Do we need a camera that can shoot good in very little light?
Right.
At this time, I knew the answer to that was no, because it's going to be out on the golf course during the daytime, outside with sunny/overcast days at the worst. And we're only doing video. And the last question I asked was, well, what's your budget? And he didn't know. He said, is it crazy to think that you can get something for less than $1,000 or, $1,000 or below? I was like, actually, with what you need,
there's a lot of options.
There's several options. So those are kind of the questions that I start asking, and it starts with what are your needs.
Yeah,
and
point number one being need.
In this case, the guy needed video.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to worry about a hybrid camera, didn't have to worry about stills at all.
Didn't have to worry about burst rates, anything like that.
But that is where I would ask this person, whoever's asking this question of what camera should I buy, what are your needs? And if you don't know your needs, start thinking about what you want to shoot.
What do you want to shoot? What do you like shooting currently?
Yeah.
Things like that.
For instance, I'm going to recommend a completely different photo camera to someone who aspires to be a sports photographer versus someone who's only shooting possibly even in studio or just a portrait photographer.
Right.
Like those are going to be two different cameras
for sure
that I'm going to offer.
Two totally different systems altogether. Really.
Right. So start with what are your needs and what do you like to shoot? And again, today it's very common to not only be a photographer, but also have a desire to shoot videos. So at that point, you're looking at hybrid cameras. But yes, start there. What are your needs? What do you want to do? So the next question that I like to ask, and it doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot, but it's like, what is your experience level?
Yeah. So why does that matter? And just
the only reason
I'm brand new, but why does it matter if I'm brand new or if I've been shooting for
if you're
10
brand
years?
new and you've never even used like a point and shoot or something in addition to a cell phone?
Yeah.
The only reason why I ask that is because I do know for a fact that certain menu systems of certain cameras are not terribly beginner friendly.
Yeah, they're not indicative to you having a pleasurable experience. Or and even beyond menu systems, let's just think about operations specifically. Like if you're a brand new neophyte photographer, that's a good word for you, neophyte, you may not have any interest in learning like full manual control, diving into menu systems. You literally just want a system where you can turn it on, point, click the shutter button, and it fires.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend something different.
Yeah, for that, probably a point and shoot versus a traditional DSLR or mirrorless camera.
It's funny, we were talking about this on the road earlier this week, but we were talking about Blackmagics. Okay? And they don't shoot, well, let me rephrase that. They do shoot stills, but I would never recommend them for a stills photographer. Anyways,
I would. They shoot raw.
Yeah, they're just autofocus, all those things. But
who needs it?
If menu system, I really don't think there's a simpler menu system out there.
Maybe Airy.
Okay, maybe.
They're similar. They're both similar. Like they're both very simple.
So I had never had my hands on an Ursa. I was running. I helped with a live production. It was an Ursa G2 broadcast, the 4K version. But we needed to load a custom LUT in there, all those things. And I was like, well, sure, I can figure it out. I'd never worked with that particular brain and that body, but
it's the same as our pockets.
It was the exact same menu. I was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. But even if I didn't,
yeah, you'd be able to fire that up.
Navigating that menu system is so simple.
Yeah.
On the inverse, we've worked with some brands where some of the simplest tools and setting changes that need to be made.
Not mention any names, but it rhymes with pony.
I can't find the crap. I've even handed it to the person who shot the pony for months, and it's like, hey, can you turn peaking on? I need peaking to come out the HDMI.
Yeah, focus peaking.
I need focus peaking to come out the HDMI. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, cool. Dude fumbled around in his menu system for minutes. Ultimately didn't find the setting. I know it exists. I know it can do it.
This is going to be my new indie country album's name, Shooting the Pony. Anyways.
Okay. Well, but all that to say, truly, all that to say.
Those are things that are seriously like need to be considered.
It's part of your experience. Yeah. Like if it's cumbersome to try and learn manual mode because you can't manipulate the settings.
You're going to leave that thing sitting.
You're not going to use it. You're not going to use it. And I started with Canon, and other than Blackmagic, I think they may be the simplest menu system.
I think so. I mean, and me, I'm probably one of the most brand agnostic people that you can come across.
You and Jeremy both.
I shoot them all.
Yeah.
I shoot them all. Have shot them all, and I can still tell you, yes, Canon probably has the simplest menu systems. Very beginner friendly, especially in their like not even prosumer, even just in their consumer lines.
Yeah.
You can pick up a fairly inexpensive Canon, I think R3 now, or R100 is the new mirrorless body that they have at the consumer level.
Yeah, that R10 or R8, something like that.
They got an R100 now too. It's like basically the T6.
Oh, okay.
But
it's mirrorless.
Yeah, it's mirrorless though. But like you can pick one of those up, turn it on, and start shooting today.
Yeah.
You don't really have to learn a whole lot. They're very simple.
I guess too, like in that question of what is your experience level, in the event that someone has maybe previously owned a Nikon Coolpix or something like that. You know what? You've already used Nikon before.
Yeah, you're probably pretty used to their menus.
Yeah, I might recommend a few Nikon offerings because you've manipulated that camera before.
Well, and brands like Nikon and Canon are very good about having a fairly, I'm going to say, similar menu system, even from consumer to pro level bodies. Like if you look at a Canon, like a G7X point and shoot, that menu is almost identical to like what we experience in the bigger mirrorless bodies.
Yeah.
It's like they're very, very similar. They keep everything very similar.
Right.
Nikon and Canon specifically do that, and I think some of the other brands do too.
The last question I would ask you before starting to offer suggestions or anything like that is, what is your budget?
Yes.
Because everybody's budget's different.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, everybody's budget's different. You may have a top dollar of $500. And if you're trying to improve and upgrade from a cell phone, that's totally doable. But my suggestion is going to vary greatly compared to someone who says, "Hey, look, I can spend $1,200."
Yeah.
You know, and at that point, it's like, what is your budget, and do you have anything? Do you have lenses that somebody gave you already?
Right. Are you already in an ecosystem of sorts?
Am I needing to go ahead and also lump in their body and lens, right, to get you started? So like those are things that I ask is, what are your needs? What style do you want to shoot? What's your experience level? And then what is your budget?
Yeah. I think that's a good base. Because I mean, if you're looking at somebody who's literally just wanting to travel around with their family and capture family moments, like I'm not going to recommend them have a big mirrorless or DSLR body. I'm probably going to tell them get a point and shoot. Yeah. Something simple that they can literally turn on and fire. Versus if they're wanting to get into sports photography, like probably going to need a couple of pro level options, or at least prosumer level options. Well, basically, they're going to have functionality that you need.
Something that's going to have a higher burst rate,
better autofocus, things like that. Like you're going to have some things that will give yourself the best chance to capture what you need to on the sidelines.
So after I've gotten all those details, I'll then generally try to have a couple of options ready for recommendation based on those budgets. And newsflash, most of them is going to be used because I'm a big proponent of buying used gear.
Especially glass, especially lenses.
But buying it from a reputable source. Yes. I've sold stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but if you're going to go the Marketplace route, you can get some deals.
I've bought plenty of stuff from Marketplace.
Well, but if you're going to go that route, either you yourself need to be experienced to know what you're getting, and know how to inspect,
or take someone with you.
You need to take somebody with you. Otherwise, you could get
bamboozled.
You could get ripped off. However, you buy from a place like KH, MPB, even eBay has like
they've got camera
returns
sellers on there,
right? And so just make sure that you're buying from a reputable source.
If it is eBay, make sure it's a camera store though. Make sure it's the camera store's channel. Yes. Or an individual with very high ratings.
There you go. So just know where you're buying from. Yeah. But used is a great place to save money.
Agreed.
And a lot of the stuff has a lot of life left. It does.
Yes.
It's got a whole lot of life left. So, but the bigger thing that I would tell someone really kind of comes down to ergonomics. And I think people way, way, way overlook, how does this camera feel in my hand before they're considering a purchase?
User experience.
Because I've had cameras that for various reasons, I physically did not feel good in my hands.
So you're uninspired to use it.
And not even just like holding it, but like manipulating settings. Like it can be as simple as this dial that I have to constantly
this button
get.
placement and this dial placement sucks. So I don't use it.
It's not fun to use.
Right.
Like that matters.
It does.
That
Absolutely.
really does matter, because if you're needing to hit that button and it's a cumbersome thing to get there, like you're not going to want to use it.
Or if you don't need to hit it, but you keep accidentally hitting it.
Because of its placement, which happens.
Those are things that limit you.
Those are things that matter. And how does it fit in your hand? Because everybody's hand is different. For instance, I really like the size of Canon bodies and Canon glass. That's also partly because I started with Canon. I bought a bunch of lenses, and so like I'm vested in that Canon EF to RF ecosystem. But all that to say, I mentioned him earlier, Jeremy is also very much brand agnostic.
Yeah, me and him are pretty similar in that sense.
He's literally owned them all, shot them all, and can tell you, like, okay, for instance, he's owned the Sonys. He doesn't like the Sonys.
The hybrid bodies.
It's not because they don't perform well or because they don't take great pictures.
Say performance-wise, they're pretty nice.
It literally does not feel good in his hands. He talked about the way, and they're sharp right after they flange out from their E-mount. They've got a really sharp bevel.
Sharp. They don't have a very big grip. The well is pretty shallow.
So he's like, it's just physically not comfortable. Again, can it take great pictures? Does it have great features?
For sure.
But if it doesn't feel good in your hand, you're not going to want to use it.
So what does he do? He gets a Fuji medium format GFX 100S, which is just ginormous.
Yes.
Shout out, Jeremy. We love you.
On that, well, I'm going to keep talking about him because he's a great point here.
He is.
He himself has had Canon and Canon RF glass, even all the way up to the R3, which is like their 1DX.
That's the flagship
body.
Yeah, that's the flagship.
Until they make the R1. But yes, he has had the R3 with RF glass, and he says, dude, the camera feels fine in my hands, but the glass is just too dadburn heavy. Like it's literally too big. It does not.
The RF lenses are massive.
They are big, but that's part of the reason why they're able to push the envelope with some of the specs and stuff like that.
70 or 24-70.
But all that to say, he has tried it.
Yeah.
He's felt it in his hands, and he doesn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So he
shot Lumix for a long time.
I think primarily now for his main photo camera, I think he's still using the Nikon.
Yeah, he's using the Z6
6.2, right?
Actually, he may have the 3 now.
But anyway, so he has loved the Nikon workflow. But again, people overlook the ergonomics. Yeah. They so overlook the ergonomics. For instance, and this is like crazy because the cameras I think used are like $6,500. But I held a Leica Q3, Q2.
Golly, money bags.
No, held. It wasn't mine. Preface, like it was not my camera.
You're just rubbing elbows with money bags.
It was Scott. It was Scott Henry's, and I was like, he goes, "Hey, do you want to try this?" I was like, "No, I do not, because I'm afraid I might like it, and I don't want to have. I
might Leica the Leica."
But I did enjoy some of the functionality, and there's something about the Leica look. Like a trained eye can say, "Oh, those Leica blacks." I don't know. It's something about the blacks.
They
the
just
blacks
feel like you're shooting with a dab-burn, well-engineered tank.
However, the Q had no well.
No, they're pretty slender. It's got that teeny little thumb ramp.
Had a thumb ramp. The thumb ramp was helpful. Yeah. However, after holding it for about 10 minutes,
you're like, I'm going to drop this thing.
And you know, first off, it's $6,500. So the cost for me to replace it for Scott, very hurtful at that point, right? Yeah, like if you get a plate
of chicken wings and then go try to shoot with it, that thing's going on the ground.
It was fine for a couple of minutes, but then as time got to wear on, like I don't know the tendons and stuff in there, but your hand had to work harder to hold that camera.
Your palms get a little sweaty.
Well, versus if there was that well there, you know. It's
you can't just like dangle it there. Like with the deep well, you can kind of just dangle it there. Off
gravity
these three
do its
fingers.
thing.
Yeah, let gravity give you your friction there. But when there's no well, like you can't do that.
But again, the ergonomics, truly, if you have not tried these things out in your hand, just know that you're running the risk of not liking it once you get it in your hands.
I was going to say, don't fall into the influence of your favorite influencer when they're recommending things.
Yeah, I mean, watch your videos, do your research.
But you've got to try things for yourself. I mean, if I watch 300 Peter McKinnon videos, well, golly, I'm just going to go buy a Canon right off the bat without even thinking about it.
He's a Canon ambassador.
Right, he's an ambassador. That's what he recommends. So you have to think about the source that it's coming from. There's a lot of creators out there who, yes, they like the brand they're shooting with, but they're also getting paid by the brand they're shooting with. So they're going to say nice things about it.
But I mean, truly, like I prefer, and I don't have big hands at all, but I prefer the well.
Yeah. Yeah, the wells on the Canon are nice.
All of the Canons have a good, nice, deep well. The button placements I'm familiar with, like a lot of them make sense to manipulate your focus points, all those things.
Well,
so
and
like, that matters.
Yeah, it does matter. And I guess really my only gripe, let's just take Canon specifically, is for me, a Canon feels more like just a work tool. Like they just work.
They can be
and they do nothing else.
Right.
Like they just work and they do nothing else. Me, I like a little more spice, a little more challenge. Like I want to basically wrestle my camera into functionality, which is why I enjoy older cameras like my X Pro 2. Like that camera is slow and clunky and unattractive to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But gosh, I freaking love it because I wrestle with that thing.
Well, you could be with Jordy. Jordy completely somehow.
Yeah, he went back to total like DSLR days.
He somehow skipped DSLR mode. Like I don't know how he did in purchasing cameras.
Yeah.
But he somehow skipped DSLR and completely missed out on that whole workflow.
Yeah, he has
and
the
that
OG
feeling.
5D, doesn't he?
No, he has the 5D. It's between the 5D3.
It's the 5DS. He has the 5DS.
But there's one in between that has like 60-something megapixels.
It's the 5DS. That's what he has.
Okay, but there's two right there in between the 3 and the 4 that are S and something. But anyways,
there's the S and the R.
If you want a little bit of quirk after shooting mirrorless for a while, go get you a DSLR.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about looking through that optical viewfinder, not seeing your actual exposure, and hearing that. There's something about it, dude. It's fun.
It's almost like racking a shotgun.
It is. It is. So
very tactile.
So, but yes, ergonomics. And I guess really to close out this whole discussion, I'm going to use a terrible analogy. If you are going to buy a car, an intelligent person who's careful with their purchase because they know it's not a cheap purchase, they're going to do their research. Yeah. They're going to look at forums. They're going to watch videos. They're probably going to ask trusted friends and family members for their opinions, and you're going to have tons of data points.
Right.
At which you can start with.
We're going to have data points. You're going to have features. You're going to have all of these different things that you can then go and test drive that car with.
But hopefully, before purchasing, you do, in fact, drive this car.
You need to test drive. Like you're
going to test drive that car.
Like if I go watch a bunch of MKHB videos, like I'll buy a Cybertruck tomorrow, but I know that I'll hate a Cybertruck because it doesn't have the features and functionality that I like.
Yeah, like
gasoline engine.
Yes.
Like vroom vrooms. Vroom vrooms. I want some vrooms.
But yes, you're ultimately going to test drive that car before you purchase it. Yeah. So why would you not do the exact same thing with a camera?
Right.
So like,
also give me some good resources.
Well, but even if you don't have access to friends who are photographers, or you don't live near any photoghraphers that you know of that could loan you the gear for you to test drive.
There are services.
Yeah, you can rent.
LensRentals.com.
I have the amount of money I've given to Lens Rentals over the years is not a fun number to think about.
Just this year, actually, just a month ago, actually.
Not a fun number to think about, but their service is fantastic.
Absolutely. Hey, they're based here in good old Tennessee.
Yeah, Cordova.
Which is Memphis, I think.
Yeah, somewhere.
Anyways.
Not here. But anyways.
Some rental services.
Lens rentals. I don't think Borrow Lenses is a thing anymore. I think they may have got absorbed.
They were acquired. Golly, what was the other one?
Maybe they are Lens Rentals.
I think they are, actually. I think they've been acquired.
Anyway, there's several options.
Well, but even with KEH, they've got, like a 90-day money-back guarantee. Like if you buy a used body and don't like it. So that's basically like a rental service of sorts. So
what you could do is, like, if you've got a little bit of time.
Amazon rental technique.
I don't suggest that, because if you damage it, then you've got a trouble. Lens Rentals has damage.
They do. They have lens cap protection, all that good stuff. Like,
you're safe renting this thing for a weekend.
Don't follow my advice.
Going out there and doing your thing and realizing, you know what? Yes.
Yeah.
I love this camera.
Yes.
At that point, you know exactly what camera you want to purchase. You can even purchase from Lens Rentals if you want to. You can keep your rental and just.
I was going to say they'll take some dollars off.
they'll do some dollars off. Or at that point, if you know that it is a Canon EOS R, you can then go start searching for the used deals.
Scour the KEH, the marketplace.
But I would suggest trying that shoe on, test driving that vehicle before
running
you buy
it a little bit. Running.
Yeah, you know, I used to
just little jogs in.
My mom used to make me do that when we would buy school shoes. It's
all right, run down and back.
How'd it feel? Felt great, Mom.
I don't know. I took 5 steps in it, but let's buy it.
I love these shoes.
Then you get them and you're like, wow, I hate these, and they're not broken in.
And I know we spent a fair amount of time on ergonomics.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here thinking, dude, I just need this thing to take pictures. But let me tell you, from
need
experience,
to inspire you to take pictures.
If it's not comfortable for you to use this tool,
it doesn't matter how good of pictures it takes.
You're not going to
use the camera is what takes the good pictures. Everybody knows that.
No. But if it doesn't feel good in your hands and it doesn't feel good to use it, and you can't use it for more than 10 minutes without it losing its comfortability, like you're not going to want to use that tool. So I would not suggest buying that camera.
Agreed.
I really wouldn't.
Agreed.
So yeah, I put a lot of emphasis on ergonomics because I think it's easily overlooked, but I think it's possibly one of the more important things.
I think it is more important beyond specs because obviously, you know, every camera manufacturer now, they've got the specs. They've got the performance. Like that's a no-brainer in today's modern camera
if you buy a camera post like 2010.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yes,
whatever it is.
More than capable.
So you have to really hash out what you do enjoy. But I want to play a game really quick.
Uh-oh.
I want to play a game.
Yeah. There you go.
Let's play the situation game. I'm going to give you a situation, and I want your recommendation.
Oof.
Yeah.
Put me on the spot. I'm going
to put you on the spot, and this is going to be fun. So,
probably don't have an answer.
Jared, I am decently new to photography. I started off on, let's just say, my dad's old DSLR.
Yeah.
But I'm a little more experienced now, and I want to get into family portraits. I know that's pretty popular right now, especially here in our area, but I want to get into family portraits. I have a budget of $1,200. And that's for $1,200 all in. So I need a body and lenses because I don't have lenses either.
Yeah.
So I want a body and lens and go.
Well, depending upon the specific deals that you find, you could get by, and don't hate me because I do have both of these cameras.
And Jared is not agnostic.
I'm not agnostic. It's just expensive once you buy a bunch of lenses.
That is true.
To switch.
Yeah, that's the downside of being camera agnostic.
It's like, dang.
I have a closet full of lenses and none of them match.
I've got a lot of Canon EF glass, and to replace it with another system would cost a lot of money. Anyways, all that to say, if you really watch deals, you could get a Canon EOS R, which was their first full-frame mirrorless camera. So at that point, you're going mirrorless, so you're getting some of the newer tech.
Going full frame.
And you're getting full frame, which is, in some cases, for some reasons, better than APS-C. Not really. It's just different.
A little better low-light performance. You got more light, bigger sensor.
But you could pick up an EOS R and a used 35 mil for that, close to that $1,200 mark.
I would say you could get under that mark because if, in case you've forgotten, they have that little 35 1.8 RF.
That's even RF, yeah.
Yeah, I've used that lens. It's great.
Right.
Yeah, I got that lens sent to me for a while. So yeah, nice. That's a phenomenal little shooter. If
you're maybe wanting to get more for your $1,200, it's DSLR, but it's still a more than capable camera. You can pick up a used 5D3.
Yeah. Or 5D2 even.
Well, yeah, you'd stretch it even further.
And I'll be even a little more broad with it. Let's just say like a 5D2 or brand equivalent. So
yeah,
like
whatever
Nikon,
the Nikon
they have
is.
the 70,
yeah.
I think, D80, D70.
Yeah, the D810, something like that.
The 810's the big daddy. But yeah, either way. Or the brand equivalent of whatever it is you like.
Unless they have drastically changed in like the last month, you can pick up a very good used example of that body for about $500 to $600.
The Mark III?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This is on KEH.
You can get a Mark II for like $300 or $400.
Right.
Which is also capable.
And at that point, you've got some money to where you can buy possibly a couple of
you might be able
used
to get a
lenses.
couple primes.
Yeah, a couple good
primes or a good zoom.
30 and a 50. I mean, whatever you need to do
zoom
there.
lenses in a recent video. That might be your thing.
So that would probably be a couple of my recommendations.
Okay. I like that.
But I didn't ask you what your specific needs were. I just went ahead and recommended a few Canon equivalents because I know a little bit about them.
Yeah, you're well versed in the Canon ecosystem.
Well, their autofocus is good.
It is.
Their colors are good.
It
like
is.
it's a really good.
Absolutely.
It's a good camera.
Canons
it's a good camera.
are performers.
It's a good camera.
Not to say that the others aren't, but we know that they are.
But on that note, they are bigger. Like they're literally bigger. So like if you're someone who travels a lot and weight savings is a big thing for you, Canon may not be the move because all of their glass is bigger, all of their bodies are bigger, even their newer mirrorless bodies compared to say like a Fuji system.
I was going to say very recently, Jennifer, our friend Jennifer Horton, who runs Blue
Mountain State.
Excuse me. Our friend Jennifer, who runs Blue Mountain
Studio.
Yeah, Blue Mountain Studio.
Gosh, I couldn't.
She went on a trip with her hubby, and we actually recommended a Fuji to her. She rented it, the X106, loved it, and I think she's going to get one if she's not already.
Well, that's a point and shoot, but like even still, if you wanted to
rangefinder,
it is, but it's fixed focal length.
Not that's a point and shoot. It's a rangefinder.
Well, whatever. It's a fixed focal length.
I'm just telling you, there's some Richards out there who I've been attacked by that will certainly attack you for calling it a point and shoot.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just trying to save you right now.
Well,
Captain.
I appreciate you saving
Richards.
Me.
We're sorry. It's not a point and shoot.
Rangefinder.
We realize that it's not point and shoot. It's a rangefinder.
Good point. But truly, honestly, and I'll wrap with this. But like, if weight savings is an issue and a big concern for you, then honestly, look no further than the Fuji system. Mm-hmm. Get you some of the XT double numbers.
Now we're speaking my language.
20, 30, 40, 50s. Or if you want to spend a little more money, you can go XT2, XT3, 4, 5.
Even the XT1 is still very capable.
But like it's because they're so small and they're all APS-C. The bodies themselves are small, but they feel good in their hand.
Yeah, they do.
Like you don't feel like you're fixing to drop them. They've got a decent whale. But also all of the lens offerings are significantly smaller.
Yeah, I think the 23 mil that stays on the front of my X Pro is literally the size of like a jar of Gerber baby food.
Gerber baby food. Yeah.
It's that size.
Yeah. Do you have yours with you?
It's in the car.
Oh,
it's sitting next to the Rolleiflex right now.
But all that to say, again, back to ergonomics and weight savings.
Yes.
If you're someone who's going to be carrying this around a backpack that's hiking or you travel a lot, weight savings may be a big thing for you. Oh, for
sure.
So Fuji system would be great.
Or Ricoh. That is a point shoot.
Or you could go the Ricoh. They've shot up in price.
They have. They're a little pricey. They got a little bit of a cult following.
Even on the used market, they're not too terribly affordable at the moment. But test drive things, and really, I think just don't overlook the ergonomics.
Yeah.
I think if it feels good in your hand, buy it.
Yeah. If it inspires you to go shoot, do it.
And if it doesn't, then honestly, don't buy that camera.
Ditch it. Leave it.
I don't
Run
care.
Away.
I don't care if you polled 1,000 people.
She's not good for you, bro.
And 950 of them said this is the camera. It might not. You're part of the 50 that it's not. That's fine.
Speaking of test driving, if you are a first-time listener and have test driven this episode, there are some things that you can do for us that would tremendously help. What are those, Captain?
Yeah, leave us a review, leave us a rating,
stars and bars.
Comment below. Yeah. I actually, you know what? This will be interesting. Dude, I'll go ahead. I'll start this off.
Is this a battle?
No, it's not a battle.
Dang it!
It's just a informational question,
a discussion.
Like, my first camera outside of my cell phone was a Canon T3i.
So we want to know what your first camera.
What was your first camera?
Yeah,
I bet. You know what? I'm gonna wager and say that.
Uh-oh.
I think Nikon Coolpix is probably going to be one of the.
I was going to say, because you could get the metallic red one, and everybody saw that and was like,
really cool.
Literally.
It was a marketing ploy.
It was. When I went on my honeymoon, we went parasailing or paragliding, whatever it's called.
Behind the boat.
Behind the boat.
Yeah.
And the dude was like up on the boat. He had the legs stretched up and was like, shooting with the red Nikon Coolpix.
There you go.
Like I couldn't tell you the position that he was in to get our picture, but he had the legs propped up on the boat in a finagled sort of way.
Sounds like he got shot.
He got something. He got a shot on my bum because that's about all he could probably see.
I would like to know what your first camera was, and in the event that you stumbled upon this video and made it this far,
I apologize first off.
Well, yeah, thank you. Bless your heart, as they say.
Bless your heart.
Secondarily, in the event that you are wanting to buy a camera, reach out.
Yeah, reach out.
And
we'll see if we can help you.
We'll see if we can help you. Figure out a couple options that meet your needs, budget, and give you a couple things to put your hands on.
I like that. And with that, Jared, here is the hard part.
No, just pick up camera and start shooting. We'll see you guys later.
He didn't make that very hard.